sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
He rightly mentioned, my name is Isaiah Gwene. I'm a lecturer with the Department of Languages, Kaduna Polytechnic. A few minutes from now, I'll actually do justice to the theme, education pathway for community development. But for the purpose of what we are doing today, being the first day, I will title my topic to be the importance of education to community development. The importance of education to community development. So, bear with me. I also have the light issue in my area, so I'll do justice to the topic. I hope everyone is following.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Community development has proven itself as an integral part of the society, and as such, its benefits are enormous if properly harnessed. Also, the relevance of education from a general perspective and in relative to community development can never be overemphasized. It is very obvious, visible, to see that education is the bedrock of any form of development. In today's world, where the importance of education is recognized, families and nationalists budgets more for their words and citizens' education. We can actually understand what I mean by that. In Nigeria today, because of how important education is, people no longer leave their children in the hands of the government for their education. You can see, if you want to go to private school, you can see the amount of money that parents have to spend, to send their children to school. And that's to tell you the importance of education.
So are you still there?
I am here, I'm doing my presentation. What's the problem? Can anybody hear me, please? I think
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay. Let me open the chat room so that
Please, everybody should stay muted for now so that we can have a good, strong network.
Aside the moderator, can any other person hear me, please? Can we indicate either by, saying yes at the comment section so that I know? All right.
Hi, sorry, good evening. Oh, good.
Bimima, we can hear you.
Apologies for not saying anything. I've been battling with my mic. I don't know what happened. Please apologies. You're welcome, sir.
Okay. Don't worry, let me continue.
Okay.
Sir, you can go ahead, sir.
Can I continue now? Okay. So let me actually start all over again. So we'll be discussing the importance of education to community development, relating it with the theme of the organization, the team created for this period. Community development has proven itself as an integral part of the society. And as such, its benefits are enormous if properly harnessed. Also, the relevance of education from a general perspective and in relative to community development can never be overemphasized. It is very obvious and visible to see that education is the bedrock of any form of development. In today's world, where the importance of education is recognized, families and nationalities budgets more for their words and citizens' education. I was actually saying that I was also giving an example of why parents will spend huge amount of money sending their children to private schools rather than leaving their children in the hands of the government alone to cater for when it has to do with education. So you can see how important education is, because parents will also want their children to do well. While growing up, we notice that parents will say, oh, for the fact that we have not gone to school, our children will also go to school. The whole essence is for them to be educated, not just going to school and becoming nothing at the end of the day. So we can see the importance of education, in that regard. We can see that education through the use of technology has globally make a lot of things easier and affordable, majorly bringing the world to one place, like what we call the global village. At least we can see. And a lot of us are actually, for example, the Zoom meeting we're doing, we are in various places that we can actually hear from each other, from ourselves. And that's what education can do through technology. Education can actually help a lot of people, aside the fact that we going to the 4 walls of school. People can also learn digital marketing, learn all other form of things, and that is also part of education. And when they are done, and when they have the knowledge and the idea, they over time train other people to also follow suit. In the human world, education, development, growth, and communication are very essential. They are very essential ingredients needed for sustainability. But unfortunately, some communities are yet to be developed, some are underdeveloped, some are still developing. This could be as a result of improper means of education or lack of awareness by members of the communities. Some not knowing the ability or the power that they possess. And also lack the support they can get from other people. In the course of this, we'll discuss the importance of community development and the relevance of education in achieving development in any community. So we ask ourselves, why community development? Because it's very, very important. Why community development? Why are we talking about community development? For us to actually discuss community development, there is need for us to know what the words are individually. First, what is community? If I should ask each and every one of us here, what is community? Maybe I can get an answer before going ahead. If somebody can give us an answer either by typing or through voicing, what is community? We are here to interact, so let's do that together.
Okay, good evening once again. So my own understanding, community refers to a group of people who share common interests, values, and goals.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Who else? It's okay. For the sake of the presentation, let me also go ahead. So when we said community, a community is a group of people who live in geographical area, people who have interest in each other. A form of social organization exists between family and state. People who share customs, languages, beliefs, interests, and many more. That's what a community is. Then what is development? What is development? Development could also be said to be growth, expansion, or when you said gradual or sequential changes. It could also be said to be improvement. It could also be said to be progress. It could also be said to be sustainability. What then is community development? What then is community development? Community development, according to United Nations, community development is defined as a process where community members come together to take collective actions and generate solutions to common problems. I tell that again. Community development is defined as a process where community members come together to take collective actions and generate solutions to common problems. That is defined by United Nations. According to Planning Commission of India, they also define community development as an attempt to bring about a social and economic transformation of village life through the efforts of the people themselves. So you can now see that community development has to do with the people in the community. It has to do with the progress over time, the successes over time that they have made, either as individuals of in that community or collectively as a people. So you also agree that community development is very, very important. And for that, there are various reasons why community development is needed. You agree with me that if an environment or a community is developed, they will definitely come out of poverty. They will definitely come out of certain kind of lifestyle that will not help the community to grow. So there are various reasons why community development is needed. One of the reasons is that it helps guide against low income, talking about poverty, talking about also low savings, talking about low investments. It's raining here. I don't know if you can hear me well. Low capital for business, low productivity, and low employment. Now, a lot of people in the course of living their lives cannot actually achieve things personally. Now, but you see, when people come together, there are solutions to some of those things. Let me give an example. For example, let's talk about low savings. In those days, people come together to save money. This one will bring certain amount of money, the other one will bring certain amount of money, and they will give it to one person. And that person will be able to use that money to actually solve. That's what community development is all about. People coming together to make progress, to make improvement. You know, whereas most times as individuals, when we do not also work with other people, and when we also do not see the need to help others also, it falls back on us that we don't grow. And likewise, if we're not growing individually, it also affects us as a community, because it is in the individuals that also make up the community. So whereas we have low income, low savings, low investment, and low capital for business, low productivity, low employment, we cannot say that that community is actually developing. The only way to overcome that is by people recognizing the effort of the individual members in the community and coming together and to enhance from there, so that every other person can also learn and also work together. And when we do that, there is need for the community to develop. And if you watch a community where people refuse to go to school, a community where people refuse to work or do businesses or put their hands to work, that community cannot grow. In our world today, you notice that some young people, instead of finding time to go to school and to do some certain things, going to school may not just be going to the university. There are other areas of life, other things you can learn, and over time then develop yourself. When you are developed as an individual, it also helps the community to also develop, because it takes the individual to develop his or herself, then as a community. So community development is very, very important when we also see the need to work on ourselves. There are areas where community development actually covers. Community development is a movement designed to promote better living for the whole community with the active participation and on the initiative of the community. Now, this is actually the concept of community development. Now, I take that again. Community development is a movement designed to promote better living for the whole community with the active participation and on the initiative of the community. Judging from the above concepts and also from the very reason why community development is needed, you will agree with me that community development covers so many areas, ranging from housing, education, commercial / retail, youth, safety, health / social services, communication / infrastructure, talking about transportation and arts, and many other areas that you can also talk about. But of importance is the core of community development. And here I said, very important to note, is the real essence of community development, which includes the following. What are the essence of community development? Empowerment, education, and enablement. I take that again. Empowerment, education, and enablement. The essence, if there is a means of community development, or if we're talking about community development and the people are not empowered at the end of the day, and the people are not educated at the end of the day, and also watching the people to evolve themselves to become who they ought to, or who they think they should be. If that is not happening, then we cannot say that community is developed, and we cannot also talk about community development. Community development has to do with empowerment, education, and enablement. In the course of this paper, we will highlight on education as one of the core of community development and the impact created. Let's take a look at the importance of education to community development. Education as one of the core of community development has over time measured great impacts on members of the community individually and collectively as a people. What then is education? Education, in this sense, is a process in which we improve our skill, behavior, and knowledge. I take that again. Education in this sense is a process in which we improve our skills, behavior, and knowledge. Education creates awareness among community members and help them to evolve positively while working towards a meaningful life. Let's look at educational perspective of community development. We have talked about community development. We've actually considered the areas where community development actually covers. We've also considered the core areas of community development. At this time, let's talk about educational perspective of community development. What do we expect? What do we see? What do we talk about? What are the importance, like I said, of education when it has to do with community development? Education impacts on human development and economic growth. Sorry, I take that again. Education impacts on human development and economic growth, and it's a fundamental requirement for democracy. Now, Nigeria as a country is an example. We can see that to some extent, we are not politically educated, and certain set of people are in power for all this while. And for that reason, it's also affecting the Nigerian polity and politics. So you should also understand that education can also help us out of that problem of the fact that we talked about democracy in Nigeria, but we are not having democracy as far as I'm concerned in Nigeria. So here I said education impact on human development and economic growth, and it is a fundamental requirement for democracy. Education provides people with the tools and knowledge they need to understand and participate in today's world. You can also agree with me that today's world, one has to be knowledgeable to actually, do a lot of things. Let's just say, for example, digital communication has been so difficult for so many persons. It's not everybody that knows how to make use of the phones, even if they have the phones. It's not everybody that knows how to make use of their gadgets, phone gadgets, or let's talk about laptops and all of that, and how to connect them together to actually help them. Now, but people who have this knowledge, a friend of mine was telling me about data analysis. You can imagine if a lot of us have the knowledge of data analysis, I think we won't be talking about poverty. It will solve one of the problems in our society, because you will be called upon, if you have that knowledge, you'll be called upon to help so many people to analyze their data. People writing projects, people who wants to go into business, and in doing so, you will lack no food. And that's what education can actually do. Education enhances the ability of families to manage health problems, improve nutrition and childcare, use leisure wisely, and better plan for the future. You can agree with me that the advent of what we're having in the world today, from our internet, from the social media, we actually get a lot of information as a family, even as individuals, about our health and how to solve issues related to health, and how to also improve on our nutrition. Education is essential for economic development and also eradicating poverty. It allows people to become more productive, to play a greater role in economic life, and to earn a better living. Education makes it possible for people to be responsible and informed citizens, and to have a voice in politics and society. which is essential for sustainable democracy or sustainable goals. It also provides individuals with the knowledge and awareness needed to promote tolerance and understanding among people. That's what education can actually do. Now, this reminds me of something a friend of mine actually said, and which is true. And in the course of this lecture, I want to also share that with us. Now, education, we can only be educated when we have an open mind, because it's not everybody that also have an open mind. It's not everybody that believes in the sustainable development goals that is provided by this organization. And for that reason, even communities who does not believe in things like that, they can never grow. So even individuals who doesn't also have an open mind can never grow. And how can you grow as an individual? How can you grow as an individual? First, the books you read. The books you read can help you grow. So some people have actually challenged themselves to read at least 3 books in a week. You can make a plan for yourself. Now, because they said readers are leaders, and that's true. The more you read, the more you have the knowledge of a whole lot of things in life. And the more you have a better way of understanding other people. Then again, networking. I talked about the books you read. Then the second one is networking. The friends you keep. Your friends, who are your friends? They say, show me your friend and I will tell you who you are. Now your friends is also, the friends you keep is also another thing that can help you grow. So do you keep friends who all they talk about is to sit down and gossip about people, or they talk about things that will help them to grow, things that will also help, you to grow. So the kind of friends you keep also can also help you to grow as an individual. And that also brings about community development. Why can't people come together and say, oh, we are good in social thing. Let's see how we can push this and, allow other people to also come to be part of it. In that process, you see that you are not idle. You have something doing. You have people who also believe in your dreams, people who have the same mindset that you have. And that can actually help you as an individual and collectively as a community to grow. Then the last about that is the places you go to. The places you go to. As we evolve daily in our lives, we should think of also going to places that we will also have a means to help people to evolve positively, and also go to places that we can also work on ourselves and appreciate ourselves for doing so. One of the places is a gathering like this, where we are meeting from different parts of the state to talk about education, to talk about community development. These are places we ought to be in order to also help ourselves to grow as individuals and collectively as a community. Now, you can also see the importance of education even to community development and how one can actually carry out community development. It is very important for us to note that education is a process of community development. The entire process of community development falls on education. Now, I'll just make mention of them so that we'll get to know. In the process of carrying out community development with people, there is need to get knowledge, knowing the community, identifying local leaders, stimulating community. All of these are means of education. Discussing problems, fostering self-confidence, deciding program, recognizing resources, identifying pressing problem, increasing self-help, solving problem. Now, if you take a look at all of these are process of community development. These are process of community development. From getting knowledge to solving problems. Getting knowledge has to do with education. It is someone who is willing to be educated that will want to get knowledge. Then in the process, you want to know your community. You want to also identify the local leaders. If you want to carry out any project or anything in the community, you also want to stimulate the community, discuss problems, and fostering self-confidence. Now, because let me talk about fostering self-confidence. Now, fear has kept a lot of people from developing themselves. So over time, one of the ways to get yourself educated is by fostering self-confidence. Now, because a lot of people think in the process of doing certain things, they will make mistakes. Mistakes are abound everywhere. So from our discussion this evening, we can understand the importance of education to community development. And in this, I'm saying within and outside the community, education plays greater role in sustaining development. I want to stop here. If we have any questions to ask or anything to say. Thank you and God bless you all. Hello.
Thank you very much, sir, for that insightful and educative lecture. And I'm sure I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to ask, what are some key challenges and barriers to providing equitable access to quality education in underprivileged communities? What do you think are some key challenges or barriers when it comes to providing quality education to underprivileged communities? Thank you, sir.
You are saying something. Can I hear you?
Okay, hello. You didn't hear my question, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Oh. Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me, sir?
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, sir. I think the rain is affecting the network.
Okay. Yeah, it's network because of the rain.
Okay.
You are asking a question now.
Okay. What are some key challenges and barriers to providing equitable access to quality education when it comes to underprivileged communities?
Hello? Hello?
Sir, we can hear you, sir.
All right. She asked a question, what are the challenges facing community development, if I'm getting that right? So in answering that question, I think I've made mention of some of that in the course of the presentation. When we looked at why we need community development, we talked about low saving, talk about low income.
All right. Please, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience I might have caused due to the, although it's not, I'm not the one that caused it, due to the weather condition we have. So the network is kind of bad. So I'm very sorry for that. So tomorrow we'll be having this same meeting, our webinar series 2 tomorrow. And we also have another speaker also. That one will be coming from, we also have another speaker also concerning that. I will enjoy you. Okay, thank you. I will beg you to please join us tomorrow by 12 noon. We'll be having that tomorrow. By 12 noon, we'll be having the next section. So I will also share the flyer and the link soon. So please, I'm so sorry for that, for this inconvenience I might have caused. The weather might have caused us. So sorry for that. Although I actually enjoyed the class, and I believe most of us did. We are rounding up the class. We are rounding up the class now. So see us tomorrow. Thank you very much.